everybody. I'm back here in the Old Man Van cave, or Old Man Van's house. And guess what? You know what that means, right? It's either a shoe review and I'm not sitting on my sofa, or something came in the mail. How many times have you heard that from Old Man Van? Well, guess what? Something did come in the mail, and you know what that means. So let's go take a look. Oh boy. Oh boy. Look what's here. Look what's here. It's another box. And it looks like a shoe box. And wow, what's it got on it? It's got a Saucony logo. Another Saucony logo. Let's open the box and see what's in there. You know, you've heard this before. It's just paperwork. Get rid of that stuff. Okay, get rid of the paper. Woo-wee! Look at that. It's pink. It's not just pink. It's hot pink with some gold accents and a nice white midsole. What shoe is this? This is the all new, and I'm saying all new, Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. This is their top of the line carbon fiber super duper racing shoe. And you might ask, what's old man doing with another carbon fiber super shoe when he's got the Asics Metaspeed Sky Plus and the Asics Metaspeed Edge Plus? Well, here's why. Both of those shoes are outstanding racing shoes. However, I'm always looking for a more stable carbon fiber super shoe. I'm in my marathon training for the Marine Corps Marathon and my BQ attempt, and I want to make sure that I have a marathon distance racing shoe that's going to be stable enough for me in those later miles. So I've heard and read a lot about the Endorphin Pro 3, and everything I've heard is that it's got a wider base, it's more stable than those other carbon fiber super shoes. This shoe seems to be, or at least they say, is a lot more stable. So I'm going to test this shoe out and see if this shoe gets into the discussion about Old Man Van's Boston qualifier attempt at the Marine Corps Marathon in October. If this shoe takes over the role of my race day shoe. Just take a quick look at it. I know, the color's a little wild, right? Old Man Van's almost 60 years old, and look at that color. Look at that colorway. Ooh, maybe you can see it a little better here. Yeah, there you go. Look at that colorway. It's this kind of hot pink with some shiny accents on it, some gold accents. And I may be getting older, but I'm no old fogey. I am pretty, adventurous. So, hey, I like some color in my life now. I don't have to just have gray and black and just muted tones. I want some life. And this gives me life. Hey everybody, welcome back to Old Man Van Running. Now we're here in the Old Man Van cave, the Old Man Van crib, the Old Man Van house, the Old Man Van's castle to talk about an amazing update that Saucony's made to its Endorphin Pro series. And that is this beautiful Endorphin Pro 3. Wow, what a change from the Endorphin Pro 2. In fact, it's basically a totally new shoe from top to bottom. So we're going to give Old Man Van's first impressions on this great new addition to the carbon fiber super duper racing shoes out there and see if this shoe stacks up to the offerings from Asics, from Adidas, and from Nike. So first off, we're going to take this shoe out on its very first run. I ran an 8-mile marathon pace run in this shoe. Let's get out on the trail and see how this shoe performed. Hey everybody, this old man Van here. I'm at the Farmington Canal Trail. You know this is my favorite running trail to do my long runs. I am doing an 8-mile marathon pace run today as part of my Marine Corps marathon training, and I'm also doing a first run in the all-new Saucony Endorphin Pro 3s. As you can see, they've got this nice kind of pretty wild hot pink color, and you know, old man Van, he's pretty adventurous and he's willing to wear some pretty funky colors. And hey, you know what, I'm not getting older, I'm getting younger while I get older. Hey, there is Jill and Tim. Jill and Tim, how are you today?
Good, man, good.
How you doing?
Hey.
We were fierce. You're
fierce? How was your run today?
Great. The air is perfect. It's just amazing. I was able to...
Isn't it beautiful?
Oh my God. The other day when we ran, it was like running through pea soup.
Oh.
Today it was like, this is perfect.
It was like 80 degrees at 4:50 on, I think, Tuesday morning.
Yep.
And like 90% humidity.
Yep, it was
Today's
terrible.
great.
It's perfect. Go for a run. You're going to love every minute of it.
I am excited.
Yes.
Some new ones today.
Whoa.
Some new ones today. Hot
Right,
pink.
Broke a man.
Hot pink.
Right.
First run in these today.
Nice.
So I went to Fleet Feet,
Yep.
took back those sneakers, tried on the Sauconys that you had. I hated them.
You hated them,
I
yeah.
hated them. But they put me in a different pair of Sauconys that I love. They're
Which
called
ones?
Rides.
Rides. And I have the Guide 15s, which are just like the Rides.
I love them.
They're firmer, right?
They're a little firmer.
A little firmer.
A little more room in the toe box, but nice and light.
If you're not a pronator, that's probably better for you.
Great. I love them. I love them a lot. But these are the ones for when I want to run fast.
Those are your tempos.
Those are my Brooks.
I use those on Thursday for my hill run.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. These are a couple of real cool cats out here on the Farmington Canal Trail. So look for yourselves on Old Man Van Running.
I will.
First impressions review, you guys will be on there. Hey, so a mile in, first mile, 8:33, and I'm still in zone 1 for my heart rate. So really good first mile in these Saucony Endorphin Pro 3s. So you can see really nice feel. I'm gonna tell you just immediate impressions. It's to me almost like taking the Asics Metaspeed Edge Plus and Sky Plus and kind of mixing them together. I feel more bounce than the Edge Plus, but I feel kind of a quick turnover with the 8mm drop and the speed roll technology. So it's pushing my foot forward. I get a bounce, but I also get a good roll through toe off. So it's kind of somewhere in the middle. It's plenty soft, but it's a springy soft. It's not a squishy soft at all. So comfortable, definitely more inherent stability than the other two shoes I just mentioned. So let's see how the rest of the run goes. Hey, so I just hit the turnaround time, 4 miles at about 33:20. So I've been running in the low 8, which is right in the middle of my marathon pace range, and it's feeling very easy. The Endorphin Pro 3s performing great. My heart rate's staying low, high zone 1, low zone 2. My cadence is in the 170s consistently. So very impressed by these shoes so far. Again, these shoes feel like a cross between the Edge Plus and the Sky Plus from Asics. So really liking it so far. And I love this
Power Run PB. Same thing that's in the Tempest. It's just really springy, soft and springy, but not squishy. Let's keep going. So I'm all finished. My 8-mile marathon pace run in the all new, and I mean all new because they're the third version, but they're totally revamped, Saucony Endorphin Pro 3 carbon fiber super shoes.
Okay, we're back. Before I give you the nitty-gritty details on the Endorphin Pro 3, let's just talk about why Old Man Van's going out and purchasing another pair of super duper carbon fiber racing shoes. Well, as you know, Old Man Van is looking to BQ at the Marine Corps Marathon this October. And I'm always looking for a more stable super duper carbon fiber racing shoe. Recently, I purchased the updated Metaspeed Edge Plus and Sky Plus from ASICS. And those shoes, as you know, have a little bit of stability in them. As I've said before, at least, they're more stable than the Nike super shoes. And I had really good luck with the original ASICS Metaspeed Sky. Ran many, many personal bests, everywhere from 5K up to the half marathon distance. But I'm really concerned about that full marathon distance and whether or not any of those shoes has enough stability to carry me through to that 26.2 mile goal. So when Saucony announced that they were coming out with the updated Endorphin Pro 3, which I really feel is basically a totally new shoe in the Endorphin Pro line, the one thing that stood out to me was that this shoe was built with a wider base and had inherent stability kind of built in, even though it's still a neutral shoe. Everything I read, everything I heard from early stages with that was that this is a much more stable offering than any of the other carbon fiber racing shoes out there. So because of that, I felt I needed to give this shoe a shot to see if this shoe would supplant the Edge Plus or the Sky Plus as my BQ racing shoe. So as I mentioned before, the Endorphin Pro 3 is a drastic redesign in the Endorphin Pro series. But before I get into all the big changes that Saucony's made to this line, let's go through just some of the basic numbers. So first of all, how much does this shoe cost? Well, again, and you probably guessed it, you saw from my unboxing, I purchased this pair of shoes through Roadrunner Sports, my favorite online retailer, who does not pay me for this and doesn't even know that I mention them in my videos. Now, this shoe cost me $225 US. Did get a discount just because I have one of those online memberships with them, but it's $225 US for this shoe. It's about $25 cheaper than the ASICS Metaspeed Edge Plus and Sky Plus, and it's significantly cheaper than the Nike series, but it's still over 200 big ones, so it's not a cheap shoe. Going to the weight. This shoe is really, really light. It's amazing with the amount of stack height, which we'll talk about in a minute. But this shoe is only 7.2 ounces in a men's size 9, and that is, 204 grams in a men's size 9. And you know what? I gotta remember my female viewers out there. And in women's, it's 6.2 ounces in a women's size 7.5, that's US, and that is 177 grams. For the women's version of this shoe. Very, very light, right on par with the ASICS Metaspeed Edge Plus and Sky Plus and the Nike, super duper carbon fiber racing shoes. Moving over to the stack height. Now that's been raised from the Endorphin Pro 2. I don't have the Endorphin Pro 2's numbers right in front of me, but I can tell you it's been raised. And this is significant. This is actually a higher stack height in the rear foot, 39.5 millimeters. So that's right up against the limit. In the forefoot, it's 31.5 millimeters. So that's typical, again, as you saw in my Tempest review, 8 millimeter heel to toe drop, which is pretty much what Saucony puts in most all of their shoes. Great job, Saucony. So that covers like the basic numbers for the Endorphin Pro 3. Now let's get into some of the details of the construction of the shoe. We'll start with the upper. This is a single layer upper. It's a mesh, and as you can see here, I'll show you really, really close. It's a single layer mesh. When you put your foot in it, you can see your foot in there. It's kind of rough on the outside, but man, it does conform to your feet. And I'll tell you, starting here, right where my little pinky toe is on my right foot, there is kind of pressure there. When I first put it on, I'm like, ooh, this is a little narrow in the forefoot, right? Not really sure if that's going to fit me well. But I'll tell you, once I walk around in it and start running, I don't even notice it. And that's because this mesh in the upper conforms to your feet, stretches a little bit. So I didn't get a hot spot in there, and I took it on an 8-mile marathon pace run, as you saw on the first run. No issues whatsoever. I didn't even notice it. So the flexibility in this upper definitely helps, keep it from creating hot spots and blisters if it's just a tad on the narrower side for one of your feet. Because this is a racing shoe and you keep the weight down, very little in the overlays in this upper. The only overlays really are right here on the logo. That's an overlay. There's a little bit of reinforcement up here just because that's where the lacing is. It kind of goes back here a little bit. Really nothing much to speak of, and kind of comes around here a little bit, but really nothing much from an overlay standpoint. Even in the forefoot, what you basically have is the reinforcement in the forefoot around the toes is inside the mesh. So that's where it kind of protects against wear, premature wear in the forefoot. Now moving on to the heel and ankle collar. Heel and ankle collar's got some padding in it. It's not totally minimalistic. There is a little bit of padding there all the way around. It's not overdone, it's not underdone. There's some padding there, so that's not bad at all, and it felt very comfortable when my foot was in it. If you look at the heel flare, the heel counter and the heel flare kind of tapers in a little bit. I, again, wear socks that go up above my ankles. I've read some kind of reviews or some feedback that some folks have had a little bit of a heel rub here. I have not had that issue. I get a really good lockdown in there. It feels really good for me. So far, not an issue. Again, like I said with the Saucony Tempest is, if you wear socks that are no-seam socks or you go barefoot or anything like that, you might have a little bit of an issue there. For me, with those socks that go above my ankle and generally higher than this, I don't have a problem. The sock liner. The sock liner is also Power Run PB. So the sock liner, along with the midsole, is kind of cushioned, right? So it's really, really nice. That is it just says Endorphin Speed Roll technology. So it's not giving that form fit kind of thing that it shows on the other Saucony shoes, but it's really, really comfortable sock liner in here. I'm feeling it. It's not removable, which is kind of typical in racing shoes. Moving on to the tongue. Here's that tongue, baby. It's a thin tongue, very thin, maybe not quite as thin because it's got a little overlay here. Maybe not quite as thin as that's on the ASICS shoes, but it's a thin tongue. It is gusseted. I don't know if you can see it in there. You've got a gusset right there, right there. So it does help keep it in place, but it's not, it's a racing shoe. It's not going to have really a well-padded tongue, and it works very well in this shoe. I didn't have any problem with the lockdown, and we'll talk about that with the lacing in a minute. Something, though, that's kind of interesting, and it looks like to save weight, is it's got these little holes in the tongue. Kind of interesting, right? I didn't notice that created any issue whatsoever. To me, it's just, hey, it saves weight. Does it mean it also gives you a little bit of breathability, over the top of your foot? Maybe. But, really good. No issues there. When we talk about the shoelaces, again, the shoelaces, plenty of length in the shoelaces, have no problem with that. And again, they're flat shoelaces, and I like flat shoelaces with very little to no stretch. Really, really good. Was able to get a good lockdown with these laces. In fact, I didn't even have to, with this shoe, go to the last eyelet and do that marathon lacing or runner's lacing. I'm able to get a good lockdown simply with the first eyelet up here. So that's really good. It takes a little pressure off the top of my foot, which is sometimes difficult when I'm doing the marathon lacing if I have to do that to keep my foot locked in. So I got a good lockdown without having to do that. That was really good. Plenty of length to double knot it. Excellent job, Saucony. And finally, the heel counter. Typical of a carbon fiber super duper racing shoe, or any racing shoe for that matter, is the heel counters are generally not that structured. Plus, it's not a stability shoe. Again, there's a little bit of internal structure here. It's pretty soft up here. But again, you see how it tapers in a little bit? I think
That's to try to make sure it stays locked, and it does give me a really, really nice, secure lockdown. No movement whatsoever in my heel. So with this upper, overall fit, I think is true to size. Had no problem in the midfoot. Maybe it's a little narrow in the forefoot. However, the flexibility in that upper, I didn't notice it at all. I only noticed it when I put the shoe on first of all. So once I got running, didn't notice it, had no hot spot, no blisters, true to size. So now moving on to the big deal in this shoe, and that's that midsole. Look at this. This entire midsole, outside of the carbon fiber plate, is Power Run PB. That is just an amazing midsole material. Man, it's soft, it's springy, it's not squishy, marshmallowy. Man, it just gives you a good, it just gives you a really good feel. You sink down a little bit, but man, it's got enough firmness that it springs you back up. So you sink, you spring, and it really feels just alive. It is turned into my favorite midsole material, all the shoes that I've worn. And I'm telling you, I really like the midsole in the Asics Metaspeed Sky Plus and Edge Plus. This midsole material is turning into my favorite. As I said, there's a huge amount of stack height, right? 39.5 millimeters, 31.5 millimeters. So that's a lot of Power Run PB there. With all that stack height, how stable is this shoe? Well, you know, it needs a little bit of stability. So how do we do that? Couple of things. First of all, you've got that carbon fiber plate all the way the full length. That gives it a little bit of inherent stability there, or stiffness, right? And it has a much wider base from back to front. Much wider base in the midfoot, wider base in the heel, as you can see there, significantly wider than what you saw in the Edge Plus and the Sky Plus. And I'll tell you, in the Nike shoes, maybe the newer iterations are a little bit wider, but this is pretty wide for a super duper carbon fiber racing shoe, and it's really good. Forefoot, look at that. There's plenty of wideness there. And then in the midfoot, they've added some millimeters across there. I don't know how many millimeters, but it's pretty wide for a racing shoe. And then what you have is you have the Speed Roll technology. That's the carbon fiber racing shoe. They just put the little label on there, but that's basically this curve here, this rocker. And man, that rocker, the key in this shoe is it's the rocker. So you get that rocker, you get that roll through toe off, but you get that spring. So you got the roll through toe off plus a bounce. That's pretty cool. You know, with the Asics, you get the bounce in the Sky Plus and you get the roll in the Edge Plus. To me, this shoe feels like a combination between the Edge Plus and the Sky Plus. You get the roll of the rocker, keeps that cadence going really fast, and it's very smooth, and you get the bounce like you get in the Sky Plus. So this to me is kind of in the middle ground, plus it's stable. Another part of why it's stable is you see how high it rides up on the lateral side, and then even more importantly, on the medial side. See how they've ridden that midsole up, being a little wider here, going up a little higher. What that does is it keeps your foot from collapsing inwards. It gives it a little more guidance, and because of that speed roll, as your foot wants to roll in, there's some resistance, but then it nice and smoothly rolls you through toe off. And you get that bounce, that spring. So that midsole material is great. That carbon fiber plate gives you some rigidity there. That speed roll rocker rolls you through. It's just a great, great feeling. I really, really like this shoe. And lastly, let's talk about that outsole. You know, I love Saucony outsoles, right? The Guide 14, the Guide 15, really, really durable outsoles. I'll tell you right now, the Tempest may be a little less durable than the Guide series, but still durable outsoles. This is what Saucony calls the XT900 outsole. Plenty of coverage in the forefoot, plenty of coverage where you need it in the rear foot. 2 runs in this shoe, a total of 13 miles in the shoe, and I see nowhere whatsoever where I would normally see it. So excellent, excellent durability. It just felt like it had good traction out there. I haven't taken it out in a wet run yet, so I can't speak to that, but seems to be durable outsole, and we'll have to see how that works. So really good first run in the updated Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. Just a really, really amazing, strong update to this series. This shoe, to me, after my first run,
appears to be the shoe that I'm going to choose for my BQ attempt at the Marine Corps Marathon in October. My first impressions review of this shoe, just like the Saucony Tempest, is going to be 9.75 on a scale of 10. Can't get much higher. I just need to wear it more to make sure it's durable and that I don't have any other problems with it. But 9.75, just a great, great job, Saucony. Love this shoe after 2 runs. We'll see if I love it after more. But right now, this shoe, and hey, I also love the pink colorway. Real old men wear pink. I think this is going to be my marathon race shoe. So thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, as always, hit that thumbs up button. And that thumbs up button helps the algorithm, helps my channel. If you didn't like it, it's okay. Give me some positive feedback. Give me some criticism. I can take it. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you really like my channel and you subscribe and you want to subscribe, go ahead and do it. And tell your friends to subscribe. That helps me out as well. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll get notified when Old Man Van posts more shoe reviews and other running related videos. So thanks again, and remember, lace up those shoes, let's get out on the roads.